Welcome back to Chris Warren's Pro Shop. We are here with special guest Anthony Lavery-Spahr, National Touring Pro, and he is here to talk about a couple new balls here with Hammer. But first, I wanted to hear a little bit about the PBA League that's coming up in a couple weeks. I'd love to hear a little bit about that first.
Yeah, so we got the PBA League coming up in a couple weeks, and very excited. We just got the new Envy Tour Pearl in, and also the new Extreme Envy. So went ahead and drilled those up, to get ready for the league coming up. I've bowled in the league. This is going to be my fourth time to bowl now, but this year is definitely going to be probably the most special, getting the opportunity to be on the same team with not only my brother, but one of my best friends and AJ Chapman as well. It's going to be something pretty special, for us to get to do. Our family's kind of been through a lot the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months, and so my parents are going to get to go, and just to get to see me and my brother be on the same team and get to experience that together is just going to be something really special that I'm looking forward to.
Well, us in the Delaney household, we're definitely going to be cheering you on. So
we do appreciate it for sure.
Well, back to the bowling balls. Tell us a little about these two bowling balls that are coming out. We're really excited to hear about them. They're coming out, I believe, on September 12th. Is that correct?
Correct.
Tell us about them.
So I'm very excited about the two new balls coming out, the Envy Tour Pearl and the Extreme Envy. The Envy Tour has definitely been probably the ball I've used the most since I signed with Hammer at the beginning of this year. It's just a very versatile, very well-rounded ball that you can use on pretty much anything. So now I'm even more excited to have the bigger version in the Extreme Envy that I can use more on the fresh lane conditions, as well as the Envy Tour Pearl that I'm going to be able to use a little bit later in the block as the lanes break down when I need to get steeper and I need something that recovers a little bit more down the lane. So the Envy Tour Pearl features the same Obsession Tour core as the Envy Tour, but it is wrapped around our new and greatest HK22 cover stock. So a lot cleaner through the front, a lot more continuation down the lane than the regular Envy Tour. The Extreme Envy is going to be a bigger ball, kind of something you're going to start with more on the fresh. It's got the new Launcher LRG core inside of it, wrapped around the Envy solid cover. Digs into the lane really, really early, but still gives you a decent amount of motion down the lane for a big ball. So it's something that, isn't going to be something you have to use only game one or only on the fresh. You're going to be able to move in and shape it a little bit as well, which is pretty surprising for as big of a ball as it is.
Well, that's exciting. Let's hit the lanes and see what these balls look like.
Okay.
All right.
So just wanted to talk a little bit before we throw a few shots about how I've decided to lay out all of the balls. So for me, and especially being in Texas, not bowling a lot of tour stuff right now since the season's over, we deal with a lot of early friction here. So usually on the asymmetric balls, I like drilling them pinned down. Just cut down on the flare just a little bit, help them scoot through the front of the lane just a little bit more, just because of how hot it is here, how much early friction we have in this state. So all three balls are going to be laid out the same. They all have a 5 3/4 inch pin down layout. Like I said, it cuts down a little bit on the flare of the balls, just help them just get through the front of the lane just a little bit without over flaring. Just makes it a little bit easier to combat the lane conditions here and makes them a little bit more usable. So like I said, all three balls are laid out the same. The Envy Tour does have quite a few games on it, so it is a little bit of lane shine, so it won't have that quite the box finish, but the other two have about a game on them, and they're out of the box, and let's take them out of the lane and see what they do. All right, so first shot up here, we're going to throw the Extreme Envy. Bowling on a typical house shot, about 43 feet, I believe. We're going to start a little further left than I normally would, just because this is such a big ball. Definitely not a ball I'd normally use on the house shot. Definitely would be using it on a longer and slicker pattern, but we'll see what we got here. All right, so not bad. You definitely can see it digging into the lane pretty early. Definitely reads the mid lane really, really hard, just like a big ball is supposed to. Still sees a lot of continuation down the lane, though. Went through the pins really well. So definitely something I'm very excited to add to my bag, just for the fresh and to start out blocks, and something that's going to really, really let me control the entire lane, especially when they're slick. So see it go down the lane again from a little bit further left. All right, so you saw the last one was pretty good. We're going to go ahead, move about 6 left, give it a little bit more rotation, and see from this deep, even on the fresh house shot, how it recovers down the lane and see how it goes through the pins. Oh, God, that's terrible. See, I didn't like that one off my hand. You can hear me say, oh, God, that's terrible. But I thought it was going to be a little bit too forward. I didn't quite rotate it as much as I wanted to, so I thought it was going to be a little forward, a little lazy, but as you can see, it came off it still pretty well and ran over the pins and almost left my my favorite stone 8. So we're going to move a little bit deeper, give it a little bit more rotation, and see if we can get to go through the pin still. It's always good when you let go of a shot that you don't like and it runs over the 8-pin. So we are going to move about another 4 left here and give it a little bit more rotation, unlike we didn't do on the last one. See what we can get it to do from this far left. Maybe. That was pretty good. I threw that one pretty good. I like that one off my hand. So as you can see, even from being as far left as I am right now, I do have to give it a little bit more rotation to get it to come around the corner and store a little bit more, but you can still see it has no problem running over the pins from that far left. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to ball down. We're going to go in order of how I would actually transition with these balls, and now we're going to go into the NV Tour. All right, so transition into the NV Tour here. Like I said, same layout. All the balls drilled the same, 5 3/4 inch pin down. We'll start a little bit further right here than we normally would on the house shot. Just kind of want you to see how far across the lane we really can go with this ball. Definitely been my favorite ball so far this year. That might be pretty good. That was pretty good. I went ahead and stepped out of the way of that one just so you can see it on the lane, just because it is so far right. So definitely a little further right than I'd normally play. So now we're going to shift into 18, 19, basically where I would normally start on the house shot here. Like I said, this is going to be about my normal alignment on the house shot in this bowling center. So let's see what we can do from here. That's pretty good. Whew. So that was pretty good. So, I mean, for being an asymmetric ball, I mean, you see how much energy that ball stores down the lane, and that's what's made that ball so unique and so good for me, because I can just play anywhere on the lane with it. I can go anywhere from 10 all the way across to lofting the gutter cap, and so we're going to move about 10 left here, and we're going to rotate a little more and show you another one. So like I said, this is going to be about 10 left of the last one, a little bit more rotation, and should definitely have plenty of energy coming off the end of the pattern. Still go through the pins. That's pretty good. So as you can see, plenty of continuation down the lane, even from an asymmetric solid ball. Like I said, it's definitely been one of my favorite balls since I signed at the beginning of the year, and I've got more games on that ball than probably any other ball. So now we're going to transition into the NV Tour Pearl and show you how much more pop down the lane it has. So we're going to start off with probably my normal alignment. Like I said, same layout as the other two, 5 3/4 inch pin down. We're going to start off same alignment where I would normally play for league here. Like I said, you'll see how much cleaner this ball is and how much more continuation it actually has down the lane. You just see when that ball gets to the friction, just how responsive it is. As soon as it gets there, it just stands up and wants to just go immediately. That HK22 cover stock is just incredible. You can stand left, throw it right, and it just comes off the friction every single time. All right, so we're gonna move about 6 left off the one that struck. Definitely want to go all the way across, all the way left with this ball. Show you what this ball really is capable of. Like I said, with this HK22 cover stock on this ball, you just really can pretty much go as far left as you want and throw it and know it's going to hook every time. So go ahead and see what this one does. That one's pretty good. You just see how much angle there is through the front part of the lane and how quick it gets to the right and just how responsive it is once it gets to the friction and how hard it goes through the pins. So we're going to go another 6 or 7 left here. And just show you how far we can just keep going with this ball. It's really unlimited how far you can go left with these balls. They're just so clean and they store so much energy and they're so responsive. This cover is just so good. Woo. See, I actually didn't like that one off my hand either. You know, got a little forward with it, didn't quite rotate it as much, and you see it came off of it, bounced off it, had no problem going through the pin still. We're going to throw one more shot. with the NV Tour Pearl. Move about another 6 left, just right in front of the ball return. Still pretty fresh house shot. Only throwing about 20, 25 shots on it, and just really show you how far left you really can go with this ball. And if I fall, because this is my first shot in front of the ball return, you'll have to feel free to laugh. Maybe. So as you can see, even from that far left, I mean, it still has no problem getting off the end of the pattern, no problem going around it. It still, ends up going high. So, like I said, very excited for these 3 new releases. Can't wait to use them in Maine. These are definitely probably going to be the 3 balls you'll see on the TV shows, and just very, very excited. And don't forget, nothing hits like a hammer.
Thank you, Anthony, for throwing these 2 new hammer balls and showing us the comparison of the 3 balls together. I'd love to get your final thoughts on the 3.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, the NV Tour has definitely been my favorite line since the beginning of this year when the NV Tour originally came out. And it's definitely been the ball I've used the most. So I'm really excited to add 2 more pieces to the arsenal, and they fit perfectly too, because you have one that's a little bit bigger ball in the Extreme NV, and then you have the NV Tour Pearl that's going to be a little bit cleaner, quite a bit more angular with that HK22 cover stock on it. And so it's a really, really good progression that they've built with this line. So kind of how I'm going to be using them. These 2 will be something I'd use like around town, kind of on typical house shots, the modified house shots, a lot of the local tournaments we bowl on. The Extreme Envy is going to need a lot of oil. This ball really digs, but the good thing about this ball, as much as it digs, it still continues a lot down the lane. So you don't really lose any hitting power going through the pins. So this is going to be something I'm going to use maybe this weekend in Longview. We're bowling on a little bit slicker pattern. Just anytime we're bowling on something with a little bit more oil, this will be something that I use. But these 2 are definitely going to come into play pretty much every day of the week. So very, very excited to get them out in the lanes. Very, very excited to get them on TV in Maine, and just very excited to throw these. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next one.